Q makes it sound, Q makes it sound, Q makes it sound good. Hello. Welcome to today's edition of Q Makes It Sound Good. Today we're going over a piece of gear that is not only great sounding, but super affordable. And I feel like a lot of people get it and they just hear like it sounds out of the box and they think it's cheap. You can get some great sounds out of it. So today I want to talk about my Volca bass. And yeah, so first things first, let's talk about getting the best sound you can out of it. I immediately noticed that if I plug in an adapter, which Korg sells their own, you get way more stable tuning and a fatter sound. So that's advice number one. Advice number two is if you plan on plugging this into a mixer or any board really, you definitely want to make sure you get one of these cables. It's kind of quirky. It is a TS on one end, like a guitar cable, and a headphone jack on the other. The reason being, if you use like a TRS to TRS, you actually, at least in my mixer, I get this weird crosstalk where the signal actually goes into the other channels. I don't believe that's how this was intended to be used. You want to consolidate the sound sources into one input. I'm pretty sure it does this by just kind of cutting one of these. This leads me to my next piece of advice. If you have any MIDI controller that has an output on it, you will get so much more out of this if you plug in a MIDI cable. The reason being that the Volca is velocity sensitive, so you can get way more expressive lines in it, and you can also look up the MIDI, I think it's like CC data, which would let you automate some things, like the filter knob and a couple other things. So if you're trying to record a really specific passage for a track, you can get super nuanced and automate all of those things, or at least most of them. So your setup Volca is going to look something like this. You've got your jack for recording, power cable, and MIDI in. All right, let's check out some of these sounds. All right, so now that we've got our synth set up, a lot of the tutorials kind of go over all the different features down here, which is great for the step sequencer built into the synth. But what I want to talk about today more is how you can kind of design the sound to your specific needs in a setting like this where you're recording it into a computer. And if you're running it through any DAW, you'll be able to do everything pretty much that the step sequencer offers and a lot more. So this is more for that person in mind who maybe doesn't plan on taking this out and doing like some noise sesh with all his little Volcas. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that's very cool. All right, so let's hear some sounds. To me, this is saw, completely open, probably the most vanilla sound you'll get out of the synth, and often the one that people hear and are immediately turned off by. Now, of course, move the cutoff knob. That's already sounding like a little more practical, perhaps. But I want to explore the envelope generator. To me, that is like where things start getting really interesting. Especially with the square wave, which I'm generally not partial to in bass. You can get some pretty cool, like, I guess like dance vibes. So I already have attack and release here set in some fashion. I'm just going to adjust and move my cutoff a little bit so you can kind of see what this does. You're going to see the cutoff kind of do like one of these, where it like kind of comes up and snaps back. So if you make the envelope further away, the attack and release will still be the same, but it becomes a more aggressive snap because the point is further away. All right, so let's start getting into the more aggressive sides of this synth sound. Like I showed you, you've got your little envelope filter, but if you mess with the peak, you start getting like these really aggressive sounds. And my dog is barking. That, used judiciously, can be a really powerful sound in any track. However, to me, the thing to me that's like, oh, this is so cool, there's nothing else I have that's like this, is going to be the square synth in similar settings. The square wave oscillator, rather. To me, that's like, I don't know, it kind of has like a... just kind of has I don't know, just kind of has a sound that grabbed me. All right, so last but not least, let's try this synth out with some effects added. So I added a distortion plugin and a chorus plugin. That's a very popular way to add like some width to the sound and also give it a bit more, make it a bit more friendly to a mix. It's a great way to kind of give it a little extra character and widen the sound. All right, and that will conclude it for today in our episode of
Q makes it sound, Q makes it sound, Q makes it sound good.
thumbnail. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you dig this content and want to support Demigod Collective. If you really want to, buy a shirt. They're really cool, and we're working really hard to get you a new shirt soon, new music, more videos, and other stuff. Thank you for your support, even if it's just watching this video and forgetting to hit like, share, or subscribe.